No AC problems anymore. It was annoying problem, but it didn't last nearly as long as it totally could have, especially with the current or at least how I was treated by management at the complex. But I won't go too long about that. But yeah, man, not fun. I gotta say, just I don't know if I said this on stream, but general uh consensus is uh trying to do anything in a warm apartment, it just makes it unfun. Just makes anything just completely unfun. But no problem today. Brand new AC unit. No fan blowing, making it sound like I have weird mic issues. There's none of that hidden in the background of the audio. So there was only one Umineko stream with the fan noise. So that's ideal. I'm trying to fix something on my desk here. The intro song is like almost 6 minutes, and I could have fixed my desk while I was listening to that. But instead, I was not. Okay, what were we doing last time in Umineko? We, let me load before, yeah, the magic duel happened. That was last stream. Yeah, that was wild. I watched that back recently, or not well, I mean, it had to have been recently. It was yesterday. Watched back the battle between the Beatrices. The battle of Beatrices. Beatrice? Multiple Beatrice? What a weird moment. That just, I'm not saying like it was a bad thing, but it definitely felt like, hey, let's have an excuse to have like this absurd magic summoning battle, which I'm for. I'm not. I want to stress, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. But it's interesting. It was interesting. We had the others die, right? The rest of the six, did the rest of the six die? It was gonna be all the wait staff, right? So, Cannon died. Shannon died, I think. Man, now that I'm trying to just remember it, like, the memorable thing was the magic battle. And then, like, everything else that was happening during that, or around that, is, like, lost in my brain. Did they actually confirm die? I don't think they confirmed on the character page. But they were getting attacked before the Beatrice thing. The Beatrice battle. And then Goda just gave up, right? Or not Goda, Genji. Genji just gave up. Yeah, I know it wasn't confirmed as if, like, again, the character page thing. I thought Genji just willingly kind of gave up. He was like, yeah, it's my time. And then that's when then they moved to Kumasawa. And then that was the reveal. And then it went to 6 in the morning, I'm pretty sure, and that's where we saved. So I want to say the 6 probably were killed for the first Twilight. I mean, it is strange. It's like, my memory, because it is just the Beatrice battle, and then me just being elated that all of the kids and all of the adults moved on to the next round. Like, that was just what I was excited about. So anything other than those two things, even though it was a good chunk that we read, it might have also been the McDonald's. The McDonald's might also be clouding my memory. Specifically the shake. Maybe the shake was inhibiting the brain somehow. Should I go back? Look. Yeah, I can just obediently say, I'm sorry, Beatrice. Oh yeah, and then she was tormenting Battler still. I don't even mind anime, but you won't believe in me. Yeah, so yeah, Battler's still having a rough time. I think I've hit my shake limit for the year. I think I allow myself maybe one shake every year, unofficially. But I'm glad it was grimaces. All right, let's read. Let's read for a couple hours. There would have been no way to tell that morning had come without opening a window and looking up at the cloudy sky, which had become tiny bit lighter. It wasn't get the mouse off my screen. It wasn't a refreshing memory. All that could be heard was the sound of the rain, which hadn't stopped falling since last night, and the howl of the wind. Let's fucking go. Kyrie's still alive. Yes. This is why I continue to live. For Kyrie. For seeing Kyrie move on in this story. I'm kind of hamming it up. I'm making it sound like I'm a massive sound like a stammering there. It sounds like I'm a massive Kyrie fan. That's like 50% as a joke. 50% yes, 50% it's the bit now. Is that I just want everything good to happen to Kyrie. It's hard to imagine that it's morning. This horrible weather speaks for our hearts. That's a good way of putting it. There's always a shred of truth in every bit. There must be. Hey, could be worse. At least it's just rain and not spears falling from the sky. Is that supposed to be a fourth wall breaking joke right there? Although I don't think that's the first time this game has said in relation to rain, spears. But now it might all just be wrapped up into being an allusion to the... Because wasn't it spears that happening during the magic fight? Like giant spears or lances? I don't know. Whether it's rain or spears, it's coming down with a bang. Is it already 6 o'clock? Whoa. Isn't this enough? Good point. Everything was in the magic fight. Literally everything. After this, we've got no measures we can take till the mystery 19th person, Beatrice, makes her move. True. However, I believe we anticipated every trick they might use against us. Alright, this is actually a certified... He doesn't know. This is a certified he doesn't know moment. They don't know. They don't know that the waitstaff has just been decimated. Actually decimated. No one knows. That's right. As long as the traitor doesn't appear among the siblings, we should be able to deal with most situations. Haven't we talked about this enough? We stayed up all night. I'm tired. You're right. How about taking a little rest after eating breakfast? A good plan. Staying up all night is tiring. Or trying at our age. Not tiring. As they all stretched, they enjoyed this unrefreshing morning as best they could.
顔でも洗ってこようぜ。
I'll go wash my face or something.
きっとひでえ面さ。
I probably look horrible. Question mark?
何このひどい匂い。
Oh no, what is that awful stench? Oh god, she smells it. She does know. As soon as they exited into the corridor, Kyrie openly made a disgusted expression.
どうしましたか？
What is it?
ねえ、何かひどい匂いがしない？
Hey, don't you smell something awful?
ん？
Hmm?
なんやこの匂いは。
What is this stench?
こらたまらんで。
I can't stand it. After hearing those complaints, everyone stuck their heads out into the corridor. The stench was faint, but once people started commenting on it, it was clearly noticeable. Each of them went into the corridor relying on their own sense of smell to tell them where the strange odor was coming from.
一体何事でしょう？
What in the world could it be?
現時に対応させましょう。
Let us have Genji deal with it. Oh no.
きっともう使用人室に来ていて、朝の準備をしているはずです。
I believe he should already have arrived in the servant room to begin the morning preparations. Oh no. Indeed, please do.
まさかあのゴーダに限って
At the very least, it's difficult to imagine.
こんな匂いをさせる朝食を作っているとは思いがたいのだがね。
Coda making a breakfast that would cause such an odor. Rudolph and the others searched for the source of the smell and determined that it was coming from underground, from the boiler room. But the door was locked and they couldn't check inside. At the same time, when Natsui's group was on its way to search for someone in the servant room, they noticed something strange near the parlor.
何ですかこれは？
What is this?
ひどいいたずらだわ。
What a horrible prank.
誰がこんなことを？
Who would do something like this? On the door to the parlor, drawn in a paint that looked like blood, was a strange thing that looked like a magic circle.
厨房にはまだ誰も来てないわ。
There's no one in the kitchen yet.
何よそれ？
What is that? Eva's group, who thought the smell might be coming from the kitchen, had returned after confirming that no one was there and that preparations for breakfast had not yet begun. Then, they noticed a change to the parlor.
ダメだな。ボイラー室は鍵がかかってる。
It's useless. The boiler room's locked.
ボイラーの故障とかそういうのだとまずいんじゃないのか？
Wouldn't that be bad if something went wrong with the boiler?
使用人は誰かいたか？
Has anyone spotted a servant?
その悪趣味な落書き、ここにもあるの？
Is one of those vulgar scribbles here too?
ボイラー室の扉にもあったのよ。
There was another one on the door to the boiler room.
なんやって？
What's that?
この薄気味悪い落書きがここだけじゃなく他にもあるっちゅうんか。
This creepy scribble isn't just here, but it's in other places too.
まさか森の魔女ベアトリーチェの宣戦布告っちゅうわけやないやろな。
Haha, you don't think this is the witch of the forest Beatrice's declaration of war, do you? This is just very funny that, like, I get that this is the point, but not even 5 minutes ago, they were all gathered around the table and they're all like, oh, we've definitely prepared for anything this Beatrice could throw at us. And then it's like 5 minutes later, and the fucking everything, they're all just like, oh shit, where is everyone? Oh god, what are these symbols? Oh, why does it smell bad? They're just boomed, just immediately. They were not. Despite them claiming that they were prepared for anything that could be thrown their way, they in fact were not prepared. Hideyoshi tried to make fun of it, but staring at this creepy magic circle while listening to the wind and rain really made it seem like a message from a witch. It's a massage from a witch. Oh, the dripping bright red paint made one think of blood, which made it even creepier. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I brought this up back during the witches duel, but like, why didn't they notice it? My only guess is that it was, even though it was happening like outside, the best way I could explain it is maybe that like it's happening on a magical plane, like a magic I don't want to say realm, but like on a magic plane that like others couldn't, like normies couldn't like see, right? That would be my only guess. That would be my only guess. Unless we want to get super crazy. And let's say, what if one way... Oh, this is me shooting a shot right now. What if somehow Battler catches wind of the battle? And then he goes, hey, you know how I know magic doesn't exist and witches don't exist? None of these other people saw this battle happening. Maybe he'll come and say that. Maybe that'll be a chip he'll use. Maybe he'll be like, hey, what's up with that? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Hideyoshi tried to open the door, but it had been locked. As a general rule, the parlor wasn't locked. Someone had gone out of their way to lock it.
これはどういうこと？
What does this mean?
私たちが食堂で話し合いをしている最中に誰かがこっそりとこの落書きを残したというの？
Could it be that while we were talking in the dining hall, someone secretly left the scribble?
客間とボイラー室の扉に。
On the doors to the parlor and the boiler room?
どうせ使用人の仕業よ。
I'm sure the servants are behind this.
私たちはずっと一緒だったのよ。
We were together the whole time.
全員にアリバイがある。
We all have alibis.
おそらくお父様に何かおかしな指示を受けてこんないたずらをしたのよ。
They probably received some strange order from father and pulled this prank.
昨日のマリアちゃんの手紙の件も含めて
And there's also the case yesterday with Maria Chan's letter.
使用人連中が親父の手先になって何かを企んでる可能性は十分疑えるからな。
It's really easy to suspect that the servants are acting on Dad's orders and planning something.
とにかくみんなどこにいやがるんだ。
Anyway, where is everyone?
まさかかくれんぼってわけでもねえだろうに。
They can't be playing hide and seek.
探そうぜ。
Let's look for them.
それより私は子供たちが気になるわ。
Before that, I'm worried about the children.
無事よね。
They are safe, right?
私確かめてくるついでにゲストハウスに使用人の人がいないか見てくるわ。
I'll go and check, and while I'm there, I'll see if there aren't any servants there.
なら手分けだな。
Then let's split up.
ゲストハウスにガキどもの様子を見に行く間、俺たちは屋敷の中を調べてみよう。
While you go to the guest house to see how the brats are doing, we'll investigate inside the mansion. Okay, so your comments here makes me want to bring up something I've been thinking since the last stream of this. Because it is specifically in regard, there was something specific in regards to, and I think I've brought up this fact before, but like, I've brought up on the streams here, like, the concept of, like, the butterfly effect. And clearly, each time we go another round in this game, that it seems like that's, like, a breaking point in a butterfly effect. And we're kind of, like, taking another path, and different things can happen. Obviously, different people are dying at different times. Some people don't die. Different events are happening. So, my question is, if it's clear that, or my observation, I should say, is that if we're to fully believe that nothing is getting carried over from round of game to round of game, as we've seen in each episode, the only thing that might be getting carried over is the meta level things, so like meta Battler and meta Beatrice, and now meta Renove, and all that, weirdly. Don't know how that all mixes up. If we're to believe that nothing is getting carried over, and that's a whole other thing. I don't know whether to believe things are or not getting carried over, but I can't get I can't get on that topic right now. I gotta stick with the first thing. If things don't carry over, then what is the actual splitting point of a new butterfly effect? Am I to believe that, and we'll use Rosa's case here because you were bringing up in the comments, that in every round of this game that we've seen so far, Rosa is I'm boiling it down to one singular point here, but in every round, Rosa is a shitty parent and abuses Maria and yada yada yada. Like, or would the butterfly effect potentially have started way earlier in the timeline, and potentially, like, Rosa treats Maria better. Maybe, like, in this case, she's actually cares about Maria and doesn't treat her like shit. And I'm just picking on Rosa here just for an easy explanation, but, like, I'm curious about, like, something I was thinking about is, like, what is the deflecting point where, like, the things repeat? Or are we to believe that everyone's history up until, like, when they arrive on Rokenjima? Okay. So I was literally just about to say that. So, like, right when they arrive on Rokenjima, that it was like, oh, that's where anything new can happen. But everything before that would have stayed the same. But even that's tricky, because aren't there... I'm really bad with timelines and stuff, but, like... Okay, so that was going to be the question I was going to say before this. So, like, if the timelines, for lack of a better term, split right when the family arrives at Rokenjima, then we've seen in the story things that have happened pre-Rokenjima family meeting. Things with Rosa and Maria, Canon, going to the school, having his moment with Jessica, like, we've seen those things. So are we saying cementing those in the timeline, being like, hey, those for sure of not being fucked with? And it's just tricky, you know. There's so much that I have questions about, that I'm antsy to know the answers to, and B, afraid I'm not going to get the answers to. Like, I will call this game the best visual novel I've played if literally all of my questions get answered by the end of it. And then I mean literally all of my possible questions. If it doesn't, then it might not get first place. I'll just put that out right now. I'm going to say that right now. I'm doing a lot of not reading, so I apologize. Alright, Rudolph was saying, while you get to the guest house, see the brats are doing, we'll investigate inside the mansion. I don't want to think about it. But maybe these creepy magic circles aren't just in the places we found them already. We might be wrapped up in some bizarre game of fathers. I will go to him and hear the situation. Though, I doubt he'll obediently listen to me. Well, the adults split up. As a result, they confirmed that the 4 children were safe in the so-called cousin's room on the 2nd floor of the guest house. They had apparently stayed up late last night playing. All of them were snoring loudly, so Rosa decided not to wake them. Furthermore, Nanjo's here. Nanjo, who had returned early the previous night to rest, was also safe. Let's fucking go, Nanjo! It seemed he believed in the phrase, early to bed, early to rise, and had awoken refreshed. During that time, Kairi and Hideyoshi searched for the servants, but they didn't find them. The servant room in the guest house was also empty. I know, good old steady Nanjo. The children are safe. They all stayed up too late last night. The servant room is empty. I looked at the shift chart and the morning shift begins at 6 o'clock. They should have started working by now. The nap room is also empty. There were signs that a futon had been slept in, but it wasn't warm. Hey, isn't everyone's reasoning right on this? This is probably a game father set up.
あの不気味な落書きを残してどこかに姿を隠して
He must have left those creepy scribbles and hid himself somewhere.
わしらに何かをさせたいに違いないんや。
Trying to make us do something.
遺産や家督を誰が引き継ぐにふさわしいか確かめようっていうことですか？
Yeah, Hideyoshi. Yeah, the father, Kinzo here, set up like an escape room for you to find out how to escape. Are you saying he's trying to see who's fit to succeed his wealth in the headship?
いくらなんでもそれは。
Isn't that a bit?
いいえ、
No.
お父様だったらそういうことをしてもおかしくないかもしれない。
It might not be strange if father was behind something like that.
何しろお父さんは大仕掛けが大好きや。
After all, father loves doing things on a big scale.
例の碑文を大広間に掲げた時から練りに練った計画だったのかもしれへんで。
This might have been a finely tuned plan starting as back as when the epitaph was hung in the hall.
なら
Hung in the hall.
ゲームの開始宣言もしくはゲームの説明などがあったりはしないのかしら。
In that case, I wonder if they'll give us an announcement of the game or some explanation of it.
マリアちゃんに渡したような
No,
紋章入りの
no
封
rule
筒が出てきても良
explanations.
さそうだけど。
It certainly would be nice if an envelope with the crest, like the one handed Maria-chan, were to appear.
そうね。
That's right.
ひょっとすると屋敷で兄さんたちがそれを見つけたかもしれないわね。
Maybe Nissan and the rest have found something like that in the mansion.
南條先生、
Dr. Nanjo,
あんたなんか聞いてませんか？
have you heard anything about this?
申し訳ありませんが、
Don't bug Nanjo.
私にも何が何だかさっぱりです。
My apologies. I have no idea what is going on.
ただ、なるほど。
And yet, yes, certainly.
金蔵さんが何かを企んで大仕掛けを打つことは私にも容易に想像できます。
I could easily imagine Kinzo-san planning something on a big scale.
一度屋敷に戻らんか？
Shouldn't we go back to the mansion for now?
なんか向こうで見つけたかもしれんで。
Maybe they found something over there.
お邪魔でなければ私もご一緒いたしましょう。
If I won't be in the way, I shall go too.
私はここに残るわ。
I'll stay here.
上にマリアたちが寝てる。
The children are sleeping upstairs.
何が起こってるかわからないんだもの。
We don't know what's happening.
子供たちを放ってはいけないわ。
We cannot leave them alone.
そうね。
That's right.
私もローザさんとここで留守番してるわ。
I'll stay with Rosa-san and watch over the place.
うちの人にそう伝えていただけませんか？
Would you tell that to my husband? Something I did just now think of is like, I'm wondering who dies as the lovers pair this time. Do we get a duplicate? Because I was always like, other than like the first, unless I'm misremembering, it was always like, okay, you have your first batch of killers, and then you have like the two, which is always like, oh, the lovers or whatever, and then well, yeah, we the three that we know of that have the easiest explanation is, the problem is when you start drilling down the pairs, some of them already have components that are missing in theory. So that's why I was bringing it up. I'm like, okay. And it would be a little bit of a bummer if we got a duplicate. Oh, do you just mean the adults that are still alive? See, that's what I'm saying. They could take like an easy route and just be like, oh, there they are, the lovers. The lovers. The lovers. But like, this seems like a cheap out to me. Although we technically had these were already done. He's dead, so we can't do Jessica and him. In theory, dead. Can't do him and her because she's dead, in theory. I'm just gonna say, if the game kills off one of these as the lovers, I'm gonna be bored. I'm officially bored with that killing. But it's what's gonna happen, isn't it? Rosa and Kyrie remained in the guest house. I want something weird. Dude, no. Here we go. It goes, alright, time for someone to get killed, right? And then it goes like, it's like, we reveal like Nanjo and Rosa had a thing. That's what I want. Maybe that's what I want. That will surprise me. We go like, we get to like the lovers' deaths, and it goes like, okay, the game tries to throw me for a loop, like it's setting it up like it's gonna be like them two dead or something, or them again or whatever, and then like Nanjo for some reason steps up and is like, maybe Maria reveals it. She says something to the rest of them like, oh, I saw Mommy and Nanjo in another room. I don't mean it like something weird. I'm just like, you know, what's the song? I saw Mom kissing Santa or something. Basically, it's a situation like that, or I don't even know what the song is. So I'm trying to, whatever. Rosa and Kairi remained in the guest house. Hideyoshi went with Nanjo and returned again to the mansion. I'm just not making any sense. At the same time, in the mansion, in a way that was hard to believe, or maybe we should say in a way that gave him a bad feeling, Rudolph's prediction was spot on. The same magic circle graffiti that had been drawn on the doors to the boiler room and the parlor had been found in multiple places throughout the mansion.
Aniki.
Aniki,
親父の方はどうだ
how's Dad?
いやダメだ
It was no use.
何の反応もない
I received no response.
一応扉に耳も当ててみたのだが何の気配も感じなかった
I tried putting my ear against the door, but I couldn't sense anyone.
使用人の姿はどこにもありません。
There's no sign of any of the servants.
一体どこへ姿を消したのやら。
Where in the world did they disappear to?
冗談じゃないわ。
This isn't funny.
お父様も使用人も姿を消し、屋敷中のあちこちにおかしな魔法陣だらけ。
Father and the servants are hiding, and there are strange magic circles all over the mansion. Good to see cool, calm, and collected Eva has entered the room.
一体何が起こってるっていうのよ。
What in the world is happening? There weren't only magic circles on the door to the boiler room and the door to the parlor. There were 2 on the 2nd floor, and 1 on the 3rd floor, for a total of 5. They were all the same magic circle, and all the doors had been locked, so they couldn't check inside the rooms.
とにかくまずはボイラー室を何とかしよう
Time to take, like, just some axes to the doors. Anyway, let's do something about the boiler room first.
何かの故障で火事になったりとか爆発したりとかしたら大変だ
It'd be bad if something broke down and caught fire or exploded.
鍵だな
So we need the key.
使用人室にキーボックスがあったはずです。
It should be in the key box in the servant room. They fished through that key box. Because each of the servants carried their master keys around, those weren't kept there. However, all the individual keys should have been there.
よくもこれだけぎっしりと鍵があるものだよ
I can't believe they managed to fit so many keys in there.
ないわ。
It isn't here.
何度探してもボイラー室の鍵が見つからないわ。
No matter how much we look, the key to the boiler room isn't here.
見ろよ姉貴
Look, Aniki.
例の魔法陣の書かれた部屋の鍵だけが
Only the keys to the rooms with those magic circles drawn on them
綺麗にぽっかりと抜けてるぜ
are totally missing. Oh, another fact from the last time we played that I'm just now remembering because we're talking about the doors to the circles. These closed room situations, Beatrice specifically, to the point where it seems like it's going to be not a mechanic, but you know what I mean, like an actual plot here. An important fact is that Beatrice was so tired with her fight with old/new Beatrice, original Beatrice, that she was like, Renove, you set up the rooms. You fucking do it. I'm too tired. I'm gonna go to sleep, or whatever the fuck she said. So, in theory, Renove set up these rooms. Just want to remember that. My brain actually remembered something. Okay, only the keys to the rooms with the magic circles drawn on them are totally missing.
本当ですね。
It's true.
これは困りました。
How bothersome.
まるで魔法陣の部屋に入ってほしくないかのようね。
It's as though someone didn't want us to go into the rooms with the magic circles.
いいえ、わざわざ魔法陣でアピールしてるんだから入ってほしいのかしら。
No. They went to all the trouble of making those magic circles obvious, so maybe they wanted us to enter.
俺は後者だと思うぜ。
I think it's the latter.
扉をぶち破るのは映画じゃあるまいし無理だろう。
This isn't a movie, so breaking down the door is probably impossible.
窓を破ればなんとかなるかもな。
Nah, I believe you. Like I said, axe. Smashing a window might do the trick, though. For a while, Kraus pondered over whether the situation really called for smashing a window. At that time, Hideyoshi and Anjo returned. There was nothing strange in the guest house, and the children were safe. They told the others that Rose and Kyrie had stayed to watch over the place.
おはようございます。
Good morning.
何やらおかしなことになったそうですな。
I heard that something strange has happened.
おはようございます、南條先生。
Good morning, Dr. Nanjo.
早朝から起こしてしまったようで申し訳ありませんが。
I apologize for waking you so early in the morning.
なんや、
What is it?
手紙の類は見つからんのか。
Did you find a letter or something?
わしはてっきりそういうのが見つかったとばかり思っとったんや。
I was sure you'd have found something like that by now.
そうね。
God damn it, guys. Just solve the fucking riddle. Not this again. Dude, we had so much promise. I was like, shit. We had so much evidence to show that this was going to be the episode where they were like going to start like fucking solving the riddle. And now it's like we're just dead again. We're just dead in the water. These fucking adults, man. These fucking adults. You're right.
私もこれはお父様の壮大な冗談か何かのゲームだと信じてる。
I also believe this to be a massive joke or game of fathers.
でもそうなら必ずそれを伝える手紙があるはずよね。
But if that's the case, there should be some letter telling us about it.
マリアちゃんに手紙を与えたように。
Like the letter that was given to Maria-chan.
ゲーム開始宣言はまさにあのマリアちゃんの手紙だったのかもしれねえぜ。
Yes, Rudolph! He says, what if Maria-chan's letter was actually the announcement telling us that the game was on? You guys are so dumb! The letter said the riddle. Solve the riddle. And then they're like looking around. They're like, there's got to be some announcement of some kind of the rules for the game or something. So pissed. I'm so pissed at these fictional characters. Come on, guys. The rules of the game. Try solving the riddle of the epitaph. They have already been made clear.
なら屋敷から5つも見つかった魔法陣にはどんな意味があるというのかね。
These fictional characters have me frothing at the mouth. Then what might the 5 magic circles we found in the mansion represent?
姿の見えない使用人もだ。
And the missing servants?
夏日姉さん、
Anatsui-san.
使用人って今日は全部で何人いたかしら。
How many servants were there today in total? Huh?
現地にゴーダに
Genji, Goda...
5人ですが何か。
5 of them. But why?
使用人が5人。
So, there are 5 servants.
魔法陣も5つか。
There are also 5 magic circles.
偶然だろうが気になるな。
It's probably a coincidence, but I don't like it.
兄さん、
Nisan,
窓を破りましょう。
let's break a window.
中を確認するべきだわ。
We should check and see what's inside.
仕方ないな。
We have no choice.
綺麗に頼むよ。
Do it neatly. Come on, man. Fuck the window at this point. Kraus made his decision and gave permission to smash a window. And he decided that the first room that they would break into should be the parlor on the first floor, where the windows would be easiest to reach. They had hoped to peek in through the window, but the curtains were down, so they couldn't see inside. Rudolph wandered around the garden trying to find something that would be good for smashing the window. Eventually, he found a rock bigger than a fist and came back.
全部割ることはないわよ。
You don't have to smash the whole thing.
鍵が回せる程度に開けてくれれば十分。
Just open it enough so you can reach the lock.
あまり期待には添えないかもしれないぜ。
Don't get your hopes up, okay? Rudolph raised the rock and hit the glass with it several times. Come on. Hit harder. There we go. Eventually he succeeded in opening a hole big enough that he could unlock it from the outside. Covering his hand with a handkerchief, he stuck his hand through the hole, that hole, and cautiously unlocked it.
後でガムテープで塞いだ方がいいだろうな。
We should probably cover it with packing tape later.
雨が吹き込んじまうぜ。
Again, fuck the mansion at this point. The rain will get blown in. When he suddenly opened the window, the wind and rain made the curtain dance around violently. That curtain was blown to the side. They could see into the parlor they knew well. They were a little relieved. They thought there might be another bizarre magic circle inside the room, or possibly the traces of some creepy ceremony. In any event, they didn't want to hang around out in the rain. So the 6 of them, Kraus, Natsui, Eva, Hideyoshi, Rudolph, and Nanjo, entered the parlor as a group.
特に変わったところはないようですな。
It seems that nothing in particular has changed.
どうしましたかシャノン。
What's wrong, Shannon?
ちょっと大丈夫なの？
Wait, are you okay?
どうしたのよあんた。
What happened to you?
チア
Blood!
南條先生見たってや。
Dr. Nanjo, take a look at this.
おい、
Hey.
ちゃん、
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm getting too excited. Hey, Shannon-chan.
大丈夫か？
Are you okay?
返事をしろい。
Answer me.
揺さぶってはいけません。
You mustn't shake her.
今容体を見ます。
I will examine her condition now. She had been in the shadow of the sofa, so they hadn't noticed her until they'd entered the room. Shannon was lying on the floor, her chest stained bright red with blood.
おーい。
Hey!
バトラーどこだ？
Battler, where are you?
ほらシャノンの死体が出てきたぞ。
Look, Shannon's corpse is turned up, see?
もういじめねえから出てこいよ。
I won't bully you anymore, so come out.
おーいた。
Oh, there you are.
そんなところで頭抱えて何してんだよ。
What are you doing, clutching at your head in a place like that? There he is, clutching his head. Battler was crouching under the table, holding his head. His pitiful figure made it plainly clear that he didn't want to see anything, didn't want to hear anything. Had he heard Beatrice's sneering voice? Could he not hear, or was he pretending that he couldn't hear? Also, were we ever informed how it is that they're viewing the current events that are happening? Like, I've wondered this in the past, if it's been explained and I just missed it, but like, are they looking at like a magic mirror and they're watching it? Are they floating above the scene like they're ghosts? Are they just beamed whatever's happening to their brain and they're just like, oh, I just know what's happening? Like, that's another thing I'm curious about. And it feels like a weird detail to leave out at this point. I feel like we should know. I want to know more. In any event, it was clear that he'd closed up his heart like a shell.
少しお嬢様がいじめすぎたのではないでしょう
Perhaps you tormented him too much, milady.
か。あれだけのものを見せつけて反論を迫っては
After showing him all that and demanding a counter-argument,
塞ぎ込みたくなる気持ちも分かろうというものですよ。
I can understand why he'd want to mope around.
なあバトラー。
Hey, Battler.
反論がないならリザインを頼むぜ。
If you can't argue back, then resign, okay?
お前の手番なんだ。
It's your turn.
何か刺すとかパスするとか。
If you don't make some move or pass,
さもなきゃ降参するとかしてくれねえと話が前に進まねえよ。
or else give up, we won't get anywhere. What's that?
聞こえないぞ。
I can't hear you.
黙れって言ってんだ
I said be quiet.
ああうるせえうるせえうるせえ
Seems like he's dealing with it well still. Shut up, shut up!
何か魔女だ何か魔法だ
A witch? Magic?
好き勝手にやればいいじゃねえかよ俺は信じねえ何も信じねえ
Why don't you just do whatever you want? I don't believe any of it.
クソクソクソクソ
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
俺に話しかけるな何も見せるな消えろ消えろ消えちまえ
Don't talk to me, don't show me anything. Disappear, disappear, just disappear!
俺にそのムカつく顔を近づけるな
Don't get that annoying face near me! Beatrice winced reflectively at Battler's sudden rage.
そうは言うがな。
Even if you say that,
お前の手番が終わらんと、わらわの手番も来ぬ。
if you don't finish your turn, then my turn won't come.
あまりわらわを退屈させるなと言いたいのだが。
In fact, I'm the one asking you to stop boring me.
知るかよ黙れようるせえんだよ
Who cares? Be quiet, shut up!
お前のゲームなんか知るかよ
Who cares about your game?
付き合ってらんねえんだよ
I won't go along with
俺
it!
の番が終わらねえとてめえの番が来ねえってんなら永遠に待ってやがりゃいいだろうが
If your turn won't come until mine's finished, then just wait for all eternity.
ああ知らねえわからね
I don't know, I don't get it.
え魔女も魔法も認めねえあんなめちゃくちゃも認めね
I won't accept witches or magic. I won't accept something that's screwed up.
えああ俺に話しかけるなっつってんだ
I said don't talk to me! Yeah, Battler's going through it. I don't know what that flash was. What's happening? What was that? Is that a teaser? I don't know what's what anymore. After being shown something that screwed up, how could I resist? Oh, we got melancholy piano music. I wandered aimlessly through the rose garden. It was raining and windy, but that didn't mean my body got wet. There was just a feeling of isolation as I wandered amidst the rain and wind and rain without an umbrella. Okay, so this is like Meta Battler, and he said he was walking through the rose garden. So I do think they must like be able to like exist on like a plane again that's like off the normal one that we know of, and they can like occupy a space but not like affect it, I would assume. I think I just clearly want answers to some details that maybe just aren't the most important thing. Maybe.
あいつのゲームにとっくの昔に負けているのかもしれねえな。
I lost in that person's game a long time ago. Actually, didn't we already have a clear winner and loser in that last game? After all, I surrendered for a time. That's why the world was tinted with witches and magic. Right now, Rokenjima is a different world, where witches stride around openly and fire off strange spells. It isn't a matter of accepting it or denying it. Maybe I mistakenly assumed that I was playing a game on an even footing with Bieto. Maybe I was already defeated in the last game, and this is just the signing ceremony of my surrender. A minute ago, a terrible battle unfolded in this rose garden. I saw it with my own eyes. I kicked the ground. Obviously, the ground was hard, and water from a puddle splashed. Several towers had split this ground, sprouting like high-rise buildings. The more I kicked this ground, the more it felt like that couldn't possibly have happened. But For that very reason, I couldn't explain it with anything other than magic anymore.
密室に鍵が閉じ込められてとかってやつなら
If it was a closed room with a key shut up inside.
よくある推理小説の延長だろってことはわかるさ
I'd know it was probably an extension of stuff you often see in detective novels.
でも
But that
あのドッカンドッカンってのはな
that big flashy thing.
くっそ
Damn it.
私の弟子が随分と迷惑をかけているようですね。
It seems my disciple has caused you much trouble. Huh?
あんたは
It's you. Someone suddenly spoke to me, so I turned around. And in the Rose Garden Arbor was the predecessor Beatrice, whom Beatrice had supposedly defeated a short while ago. Okay, so now that this story has used the term predecessor Beatrice now like several times, I guess I should probably use that instead of saying old/new Beatrice, just to avoid confusion, mostly for myself. Predecessor Beatrice.
てっきり死んだと思ったぜ
I was sure you died. Also, I don't know if I conveyed it enough in the last part. I'm very disappointed she lost the fight. I'm very disappointed. I mean, I trust this game's gonna do still interesting things with regular Beatrice, blonde Beatrice, old/new Beatrice. I get it. I trust the game. But man, it would have been interesting if something happened where it's like, all right, now this Beatrice is the one, and like it did the whole thing. Getting my hopes up. I don't know. I was sure you'd died, he said.
生きてたのか
So, you survived?
いいえ、死にましたよ。
No, I did die.
今の私は取られた駒がチェス盤の外でくつろいでいるだけに過ぎません。
Now, I am nothing more than a defeated chess piece loitering outside the chessboard. The way you're saying that in chat there, it sounds so tongue-in-cheek. It makes it sound like we're gonna get... This is what I'm saying, dude. This is what I'm gonna say. I still think my theory of Maria becoming the new Beatrice is still well in play. I'm still holding on to that theory. That's one of like... I talked about how I have like 3 different buckets of theories for this game, for the series. One theory that's in the, hey, I actually fully believe that this is a thing that could happen. Maria becoming Beatrice in some point of this story is something I'm holding on to so hard. I think it's setting up. So, do you know who's been relatively like absent this whole episode? Maria. Are we building up to have her like exit? She was a main focal point in like the first 2 episodes. This episode, she's been very, very quiet. What if we have the Maria roller coaster, right? Think of Maria and her character and everything about her is like a roller coaster. If you have your eyes closed and then you envision like episodes 1 and 2, we had like some high peaks of Maria, and she was doing her Maria thing. She was saying ooh all the time. And now in episode 3, we're on like we went down. We're in the valley. And they're like, oh, we're luring them. She's quiet. We're gonna make most players forget that she's even a character. Ooh, what? Maria who? We don't know who you're talking about. And then bam! Episode 4 into 5 or 6 or whatever, Maria's gonna supersede the current blonde Beatrice. Maria's gonna take up the mantle of Beatrice. And it's gonna, I'm gonna be so right, and it's gonna feel so good. Go back to this part. What part is this? 30, 36, 37? 36 or 37? This is gonna be, this will be 35. Come back to part 35. When we're in part like 70 when it happens, come back to part 35 here and say, you were right. You were right, Austin. God, you were so right.
あんたはベアトの師匠なんだろ
You're Beato's teacher, right?
ってことはつまりあんたも魔女ってわけか
So, in other words, you're a witch too?
そうですよ。
I'm so positive. I couldn't be more correct about anything right now than the theory that Maria becomes the new Beatrice. At some point in this story, we've now seen that the title of Beatrice can get passed along. It's been confirmed, and I think I said something along the lines of Maria becoming a witch or Beatrice, like, before even we've seen this person. And before, like, it was even revealed that the title Beatrice. So I was already onto things. I'm pretty sure I was already onto things before the theory started getting hardened. Let the record show. She says, yes, that is correct.
ってことはつまり
So basically,
やっぱり魔女はいるってことで決まりなわけだろ
that means witches really do exist.
そしてあいつを倒せるのは俺じゃない
And the only one who can defeat her isn't me.
すげえ魔法使えるあんたの方じゃねえか
That'd be you, since you can use awesome magic, right?
俺はもうお役ごめんさ
I'm just useless now.
俺にできることなんてもう何もね
There's nothing I can do anymore.
おやおや、
Oh my.
すっかり屈服してしまいましたか。
Have you surrendered completely?
僕も何も
Oh, what do you mean, surrender?
あれをどう説明すりゃいいんだよ
How am I supposed to explain that?
塔が生えたり落ちてきたり
Towers sprouting and
で
falling.
っけえ巨人が盾を構えたり槍を投げたり
Huge giants holding shields and throwing spears.
ああ思い出すだけでも気が変になりそうだぜもう推理もヘチマもあったもんじゃねえ
Just remembering it makes me feel like I'm going insane. We're way past the point of trying to reason this all out, aren't we?
トリックとか人間犯人説とかそんな領域をとっくに超えてるだろ
We've left the level of tricks and things that can be explained with human culprits.
ああチクショーチクショーチクショーチクショー
Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it!
落ち着いて、
Calm yourself.
私はあの子のゲーム版の駒に過ぎない。
I'm nothing more than a piece on that child's game board.
こうして番外へ取り除かれてしまえば、もはや何もできない存在。
After being removed from that board, I am no longer a being capable of doing anything.
しかしあなたはあの子の対戦相手。
Oh, that's another thing that I was... dude, this... I'm telling you, if you don't think I'm dedicated to Umineko, like, I think about Umineko at different random little points, not like constantly, not like 24/7, but I'm off stream and I think of things. Now that Kumasawa is, I assume, always to have been this Beatrice, even in past episodes, right? Like, the way it was presented is I'm assuming this Beatrice, predecessor Beatrice, was always was always Kumasawa, but just because her powers were locked and weren't strong enough, she couldn't reveal herself or whatever. I assume that's the case. I might be wrong, but I'm going off this assumption. Does that mean then in future episodes, episode 4, episodes 5 through 8, however those get handled, still not 100% sure, is it still going to be Kumasawa predecessor Beatrice? And has she been defeated so bad in episode 3 that she then can't do all the things she did in episode 3, or is she gonna have another crack at it? See, that's what I don't know what gets reset. What gets reset? Who knows? Dude, if I had no real life obligations, let me make this clear. I would play Umineko 10 hours a day. I would literally sit here and just play for 10 hours. And we'd finish this game up in like a month. If I didn't have to do anything else with my life. If I just wanted to be an Umineko degenerate. She says, but you are that child's opponent.
あなたが自ら投げ出さない限り、あなたには常にあの子に一矢報いる力があるのだから。
As long as you do not give up on your own, you always have the power to strike back.
うるせえ
Shut up!
あんただっておかしな呪文を唱えて塔だの槍だのを呼び出してたじゃねえかよ
Weren't you also reciting strange spells and summoning towers and spears?
何を一矢報いるってんだよ
What do you mean, strike back?
俺にも魔法を教えてくれた。あいつとあの大魔法バトルを繰り広げろっていうのかよ。
Are you saying you'll teach me magic too and make me take part in that massive magic battle?
あなたが望むなら
If you wish,
あなたに魔法の一端を教えてあげてもいいですよ。
I could teach you a bit about magic.
そりゃあ願ったり叶ったりだぜ。
Ah, just what I wanted.
あいつの胸板にズドンと打ち込んでやれるようなすっげえ魔法一発頼むぜ。
Please, give me some awesome magic to smash through your chest in one blow.
なめんなってんだ。
Don't screw with me.
日本の魔法に雨乞いの儀式というものがあるそうですね。
I hear that in Japanese magic, there's a ceremony used to pray for rain.
ご存知ですか？
Do you know of it?
雨乞い？
A rain ceremony?
バンバン火をくべて演武を奉納して雨を祈るっていうあれか？
That thing where you throw stuff into a fire and dance as an offering?
あれは魔法じゃねえだろ。
That's not magic.
火で上昇気流ができて、その結果雨雲が集まるっていう。
They say that the fire causes an updraft, which makes rain clouds gather.
れっきとした科学現象のはずだぜ。
That's supposed to be an accepted scientific phenomenon.
おや、
Oh?
私は東洋魔法の一つだと信じていましたが、
I believed it to be a form of Eastern magic.
魔法ではないのですか？
But is that not the case?
天に聖なる火を捧げ、敬いの演舞を捧げることで、
I believe people offered sacred fire to the heavens, as well as a dance of respect.
神々の心に雨乞いの嘆願が届くものと信じておりましたよ。
So that your entreaty for rain would reach the hearts of the gods.
大昔の連中はそうだったろうよ。
Maybe people did that long ago.
でも、その手のオカルトは大抵科学的に説明がつくもんだ。
But most occult things like that have a scientific explanation.
物が燃えるのはどうしてですか？
Why do things burn?
物質にフロギストンが含まれているからでは？
Isn't that because... Oh boy, I don't know if that's a hard G or a soft G. Words. Phlogiston is contained in the material.
いや、
I'm not a smart
物が
person.
燃えるのは酸化反応だ。
Despite maybe seeming or coming across as a smart person sometimes. Definitely not. No! Things burn because of a chemical reaction.
フロギストン説はラボアジェが否定したはずだぜ。
Lavoisier abolished the... just words. This word abolished the this word theory.
物に熱が伝わるのはどうしてですか？
Why does heat transfer through objects?
物質にカロリックが含まれているからでは？
Isn't that because caloric is contained in the material?
そいつは確かジュールが否定したはずだ。
I'm pretty sure that was abolished by Joule.
熱はエネルギーであって物質じゃない。
Heat is energy, not a substance.
よくお勉強していますね。
You have studied well.
正しい知識ですよ。
Your knowledge is accurate.
ちょいとした雑学レベルだがな。
It's just some trivia.
フロギストンもカロリックも、果てはエーテルも、神の愛さえも。
P word, caloric, and eventually ether and God's love.
科学的な説明の前には無力ですね。
All are powerless before a scientific explanation. This is very strange. Is she trying to get him to think like, yeah, just think with science and you can beat Beatrice? But that's very strange for her to say that, assuming she is in fact possibly a witch with magic abilities. So why is she now going like, nah man, you just gotta think with science. Just recall what you learned in school about science.
私はかつて木からリンゴが落ちるのは
In the past, I was told that an apple falling from a tree
人に食を与えるための神の愛のおかげだと聞かされましたよ。
was thanks to God's love, so that humans would be given food. Nah, that's a
重力
Newton
すらも
thing.
神の愛なのか？
So even gravity is the love of God?
まあ、
科学より宗教が万物を説明した時代の名残だろうぜ。
Well, it's probably the remnants from the period when religion rather than science was used to explain everything.
その通りです。
That is correct.
人類はかつて自らの知識の限界を
In the past, humans called the limits of their knowledge.
いいえ、無知そのものを魔法と呼んだのです。
No, ignorance itself, magic.
先ほどの雨乞いの話はまさにそれでしょう。
Like the rain ceremony we were just talking about.
太古の人々が
Did the people of ancient times realize that there was a scientific explanation?
火が熱を生み上昇気流を生み出して雲を呼ぶことを科学的に理解していたでしょうか。
That fire gave rise to heat to cause updrafts that summon clouds?
理解せずともそういう結果になることだけは知っていた。
Even without understanding these things, they at least knew the result.
そういうのは結構あるかもな。
That probably happened a lot.
先人たちの知恵ってやつさ。
That stuff called knowledge of the ancestors.
理由は分からずとも長い経験でそういう結果が得られることを知っていた。
Even without understanding the reason, through long experience, they knew that they'd achieve results.
原理を理解できない現象は多分彼らにとっては魔法も同然だったろうな。
Phenomenon whose principles they didn't understand were probably the same as magic to them. Like this person just said, ancient people who didn't understand those principles probably believed that, through the rain ceremony, their wishes would reach the heavens and make rain fall. To them, that was certainly magic. As long as they didn't understand updrafts.
電気のスイッチを押せば明かりがつく。
If you push an electrical switch, a light turns on.
子供は電球がなぜ発光するのか、その科学的原理を知らず、
Children do not know the scientific principles behind why a light bulb lights up.
結果だけを知っていてスイッチを押す。
They only know the result when they push the switch.
原理を知らずとも結果を得られるならば、それは彼らにとって魔法なのではありませんか。
If they obtain such a result without knowing the principles, doesn't that make it magic to them?
面白い話だな。
That's pretty interesting.
まあ理屈から言やそうだ。
Well, logically that's true.
例えば俺たちはテレビのブラウン管にどうして画像が映るのか理屈はさっぱり分かってない。
For example, I don't have a clue why the brawn tubes in TV show a picture.
でもテレビに物が映るのは当たり前だと思ってる。
Still, I think it's totally normal to see things shown on a TV.
ブラウン管の原理を知らなくてもスイッチを押せばテレビが見られることだけは知っている。
Battler doesn't understand TV tech. Even if I don't understand the principles behind brawn tubes, I at least know that if I push the switch, I can watch TV.
上昇気流を理解せずに雨乞いをするのと全く同じだ。
It's exactly the same as having a rain ceremony without understanding updrafts.
つまり原理を知らないならばテレビだって魔法も同然。
In other words, if I don't know the principles, even TV is the same as magic.
いや魔法そのものだろうってわけか。
Or even magic itself, I guess.
あなたはブラウン管の構造がどうなっているか知っていますか。
Do you know the structure of brawn tubes?
分解してその中身を見たことは。
Have you ever taken one apart and looked inside?
ねえよ。
Nope.
本か何かで構造を読んだ気もするが難しくてさっぱりだったな。
I think I read about it in a book or something once, but it was complicated and I didn't have a clue.
確か電子が蛍光物質にぶつかるとき発光してどうだらこうだな。
I think that when electrons hit a fluorescent material, it creates luminescence or something like that.
それは偽書です。
That book lied.
真実はブラウン管の中にグレムリンという妖精が閉じ込められていて。
Actually, there are small people called gremlins shut up inside the brawn tubes.
魔法で仕事をしてくれているからなのですよ。
And they do their work with magic. Oh, the gremlins in the TV. Huh?
バカなこと言うなよ。そんなわけねえだろ。
Don't be stupid. There's no way that's true.
ブラウン管の中を覗いたこともないのにどうして否定を。
How can you deny it if you have never looked inside a brawn tube?
覗いたことはねえが、絶対にそんな妖精はいないと断言できるさ。
That's a good point, yeah. She was just able to be mysterious and teach him about some science things, and then talk to him about gremlins, and his mood instantly improves. He's like, I love the idea of gremlins inside of my television. Tell me more. I've never looked inside, but I can say for sure that small people like that definitely don't exist.
ここにブラウン管がない以上、実証は不能ですよ。
Since there are no brawn tubes here, that is impossible to prove.
確かに今この瞬間は実証不能だが。
Yeah, it's an... Oh, excuse me. Oh, Jesus. It's impossible to prove right now.
後でどこかのテレビをバラしてみせれば
How unprofessional of
す
me.
ぐに論破できるさ。
But later, I can take apart a TV somewhere and show you and instantly win the argument.
ということは、
So, put another way,
ブラウン管の中にグレムリンが閉じ込められていて、その魔法で映像を映し出しているという私の魔法説は、
my magical theory that gremlins are shut up inside the brawn tubes and display the picture with magic
ブラウン管の中身を検証するまで否定不能ということになりますね。
is impossible to disprove until we can verify the contents of a brawn tube, correct?
なんだよあれか。
What the hell, is this one of those?
悪魔の証明だって言いてえのか。
Are you trying to say it's a devil's proof?
お前たち魔女のお箱だぜ。
That's a favorite trick of you witches.
悪魔の証明は消極的事実の証明が不可能であることを逆手に取った詭弁です。
A devil's proof is a bit of sophistry, one that takes advantage of the fact that negative facts are impossible to prove.
しかし今のブラウン管の話は違う。
However, it's different from my brawn tubes metaphor.
テレビをたった1台分解すれば済むだけの話ですよ。
That could be resolved simply by taking apart a single television.
そうだな。
You're right.
確かに悪魔の証明とは異なるな。
It isn't really a devil's proof.
あなたの提唱する科学的説明と私の提唱する魔法的説明、
You have proposed a scientific theory, and I have proposed a magical one.
そのどちらかが真実です。
One of those is the truth.
そしてそれはブラウン管の中を覗いた時に確定する。
And which one it is can be ascertained the moment you look inside a brawn tube.
しかしそれを確かめる瞬間の直前まで私たちは互いの説を否定できないのです。
However, until the instant that happens, we cannot deny each other's theories.
つまり真実は一つであるにもかかわらず、
So, even though only one truth exists,
ブラウン管の中を覗く直前までは相反する真実が同時に2つ存在することができる。
until you look into the brawn tube, you can have two conflicting truths existing at the same time. That almost sounds like Schrodinger's cat. Is she just telling him to, like, just go underground? It's as simple as that. Go see if there are crazy towers underground.
一つしか存在してはいけない真実が2つ同
Come on,
時に
battler.
存在できる異空間。
Go get a shovel. Start digging. Go, meta battler. Go get a big shovel. You have a realm in which two truths can exist simultaneously, even though there must be only one truth in existence. Ah, I called it. I'm familiar with this cat thing. Dude, this game loves to do the fucking, like, these things. I mean, the Zero Escape series did this, loves playing with these and talking about these, like, almost to an obnoxious level, but it's fine. I give it a pass. Things like Schrodinger's cat, anything else. Throw Devil's Proof in there, although I don't think Devil's Proof was ever actually used, but you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Is the cat in the box alive or dead? If you open the box, you will learn the answer. You will learn the truth. However, until you open that box, you can claim that the cat is alive, and you can also claim that it is dead. Both claims are the correct truth according to the people making them. And even though the two sides are in conflict, neither can win the argument as long as the box remains unopened. In other words, two truths can exist at the same time. Even though there can only be one cat in the box, it is packed with a living cat and a dead cat, forming a strange, separate world. That is what Rokkenjima is now. This island is now a different world where a scientific theory and a magical one can exist at the same time. To a resident of the world of science such as yourself, at a glance, it may feel as though this island has been sucked into a world of magic. That might not be wrong, but it is not accurate. Strictly speaking, has been moved from a world of science to the gap between that world and the world of magic. So, at a glance, it appears to you as though the world is tilted towards the magical side. But in reality, this island is now in a perfectly impartial position with relation to those two opposing worlds. Damn it! I was literally just about to say, well, now the real test is, what does Battler do with this information? She's like trying to spoon feed him some kind of like help. And he's like, I don't get what you're talking about. I don't really get it. The gap between reality and magic? No, I was really hoping he says like, I don't really get it. He's like, how can there be a dead cat and an alive cat in the box at the same time? A perfectly impartial world. How is that? Hasn't pretty much everything that's happened been totally not in my favor? Then perhaps you could think of it this way. This is a trial. Think of it as a court where you and Beatrice are laying out opposing claims. Call it a Braun tube trial. Your opponent claims that there are tiny people inside the Braun tubes. Explaining one thing after another. Talking about the lives of these tiny people, what they look like, what type of magical power they have. And what do you do? Well, I study in a library and argue back by explaining how Braun tubes are constructed. At this moment, both your claim and that child's claim exist in the court at the same time. If you find your opponent's claim convincing, it might sound like truth to you. It might look like truth to you. That is exactly what you saw. At this moment, on Rokkenjima, witches and magic certainly may exist as truth. However, until the moment that the cat's box is opened, that world is an uncertain wave function. The entire situation can be explained by both sides at the same time. However, there is one truth. That set of truth shrinks with observation. And countless truths are weeded out to become one truth. It is like when, in court, the judge hands down his judgment. The two truths from the prosecutors and the defense's claims are reduced in number by the judgment and become one.
あんたの言葉を借りるとつまり
To say it in your words,
今のこの島はブラウン管の中を覗く直前の世界ってわけなんだ
this island right now is the world right before looking into a Braun tube, right?
な。だからこそ科学説も魔法説もどちらも否定できない。
Therefore, the science theory and the magic theory cannot be denied.
否定できないってことはつまり
And since it cannot be denied,
どちらも真実として存在できる。
both can exist as truth.
だから魔女も魔法も存在し得る。
Therefore, both witches and magic can exist.
しかし同時にそれを否定するあなたの意見もまた真実として同時に存在できる。
However, at the same time, your opinion of denial also exists as truth.
相反する二つが同時に存在できる世界。
It is a world where two conflicting things can exist at once.
そして相反する真実が互いを否定する理由にできない世界。
And it is a world where conflicting truths cannot disprove each other.
理解できてきましたか？
Have you managed to understand?
つまり
In other words,
レアトがどんなすげえ魔法を俺に見せようとも
no matter how much awesome magic Bito shows me,
それは魔法説の主張でしかなく俺を否定することには当たらない。
it's only a claim of a magical theory, and it doesn't disprove my position.
レアトがどんな魔法を俺に見せようとも
So, no matter what kind of magic Bito shows me in this world,
この世界ではそれをもって魔法が存在する証拠にはなり得ないってことか。
it cannot become proof that magic exists.
そうです。
That's right.
あの子は木からリンゴが落ちることすらも魔法で説明しようとするでしょう。
That child might even try to explain an apple falling from a tree with magic.
あの子は一見杖を振るって魔法にてリンゴをもぎ取り
Perhaps by shaking her staff and magically plucking the apple,
大地に落としたかのように主張するかもしれない。
then claiming to be the thing that made it drop down to the earth.
しかしそれはあの子の主張の一つに過ぎないのです。
However, that would be nothing more than another claim.
あの子のいかなる主張もあなたの主張する機会を拒むことはできない。
None of your opponent's claims can prevent you from making yours.
その意味においてこの世界は双方にあまりに公平なのです。
In that sense, this world is quite impartial to both sides.
なるほどな。
I get it.
だがよ
Still,
その論法で言ったならたとえ俺が科学説で正論を示したところで
by that argument, if I show a sound argument with my science theory,
奴の魔法説と正面衝突を起こすだけで俺もまた奴を論破できない。
and it collides head on with her magic theory, I also can't win against her.
しかもそのファイナルジャッジはブラウン管を覗かない限りつかない。
On top of that, the final judgment won't come until we peek into the Braun tube.
この世界のブラウン管はどこにあるんだ。
Where is the Braun tube in this world?
俺たちに議論なんて必要ないってことになる。
Because it exists, there should be no reason for us to argue.
俺たちは仲良くブラウン管の中身を覗けばいいだけの話じゃねえのか。
Why don't we just get along and peek into the Braun tube?
中に妖精が本当にいたら俺の全面敗北だ。
If there really is a tiny person in there, it's my complete loss.
いなかったら逆に俺の勝ち。
Otherwise, it's my victory.
俺たちはブラウン管を覗かずにどうして論争を繰り広げなくちゃならないんだ。
Why do we have to hold this debate without looking into the Braun tube?
それこそがあの子があなたに挑んだゲームなのです。
That itself is the game you're being challenged to.
裁判ではなくチェスと例えるべきでしょう。
Maybe, instead of a court, I should use chess as an example.
勝敗は裁判官が決めるのではない。
Yeah, let's bring chess back into this. There, victory and loss are not determined by a judge.
戦っているあなたたち自身が決めるのです。
You who fight will decide it yourselves.
真実が同時に存在できるめちゃくちゃな世界で相手を論破なんてできるのかよ。
Can you win an argument with an opponent in a screwed up world where multiple truths can exist at the same time?
現にあなたは論破されて今こうして屈服していますよ。
In actual fact, did you lose an argument and surrender like this? Uh,
今私に助言できるのはここまでです。
that is all the advice I can give you now.
もしもあなたが望むなら時折助言を与えましょう。
If you wish, I can occasionally offer you counsel.
あ
Sure.
あ、ありがとう。助かるぜ。
Thanks. That really helps.
あんたの仇も
I'll avenge you.
俺が取ってやる。
Oh. Cut him off.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
期待していますよ。
I look forward to it.
あんた、名前は？
But what's your name?
ベアトリーチェはかつて私の名でしたが、譲ってしまった今、私は名前を持ちません。
Also, whatever this music track is, I'm into. It's got a funky bass line. Beatrice used to be my name, but now that I've surrendered it, I do not have a name.
ならば、仮の名でも名乗りましょう。
Oh, dude, I was always wondering what the temporary name was going to be. I was always like, oh, she's got to get something. So, I shall take a temporary name.
ワルギリアス。
Vergilius? Vergilius? I beg your pardon?
い
No.
え、ワルギリアではいかがです
She was like, no, that sounds really dumb. Let me try again. Oh my goodness. Okay, no. How about Vergilia? Did she say it? Did she say it with a hard G or Vergilia or Virgilia? Vergilia. Vergilia. Vergalia. Wow. The big V.
ワルギリ
Oh, no, it's hard. Vergilia.
ア。ワルキュリア？
Like Valkyria?
神話の女神の名前だっけか。
Like the hit game Valkyria Chronicles Remastered? Played on the hit streaming channel? My channel? Wasn't that a name for goddesses that show up in myths?
いい
No.
え、ベアトリーチェのもとへ導くものという意味です。
Haze. I don't know, I just kinda like it. It's kinda simplistic, but it's kinda... No, it means the guide who leads the way to Beatrice.
煉獄さんの頂上にて待つあの子のもとへあなたを導く。
I will guide you to that child who waits at the summit of Mount Purgatory.
その案内人にふさわしい名前でしょう。
It ought to be a fitting name for such a guide. I gotta say, let's talk about this now. Battler, just like in a Kingdom Hearts game, his power might come from his friends and his friendships. We have now seen so many different witches and supernatural beings kind of join Battler's side. Like, and I don't know if that says more about Battler or if it says more about blonde-haired Beatrice, because we've seen now, what was it? Name escapes me, but Little Witch was like, I'm gonna help Battler. We now see past Beatrice, Bernie. Yep, Burn. We've seen Bernie. We've seen we've seen Renove. Also, Renove works under Beatrice, and Renove was like, yeah, I'll you know what, I'll kind of help you out here for a little bit. Like, honestly, Battler's greatest strengths, and if he's gonna win this, is gonna come from help from others. Like, he's gotta... Oh, man. Alright. I just wanted to point that out. I just find it funny that, like, everyone who knows blonde-haired Beatrice is kind of like, yeah, we gotta take her out. She sucks. It ought to be a fitting name for such a guide.
魔女を否定する俺が魔女の助けを借りるとはな。
Who would have guessed I'd accept help from a witch when I'm trying to deny witches?
なるほど。
I see.
異なる主張が同時に存在できるこの矛盾した世界なら、それもありってわけだ。
If this is a contradictory world where different claims can exist at the same time, I guess that's cool.
笑える話だぜ。
It's almost funny.
あの子の言葉を借りるけど、本当にあなたは不死鳥のような人ね。
I'm borrowing that child's words, but you truly are like a phoenix.
戦う気力がもう蘇ってきた。
Your will to fight has already been revived.
さあ、心の準備がいいなら、あの子のもとへ。
Come, if your heart is prepared, return to your opponent.
あの子の座するチェス盤の正面へお戻りなさい。
Return to the chessboard where that child is seated.
私の弟子とどこまで戦えるか、楽しみにしていますよ。
I look forward to seeing how far you can fight with my disciple.
ああ、見てろよ。
Yeah, watch it.
もうあいつの寝言には耳を貸さね
I won't listen to her babbling anymore.
え。とことん冷静に俺の戦いを貫いてや
I'll coolly fight to the end.
る。もうあいつの挑発には絶対に乗らね
I definitely won't get provoked by her any longer.
では戻りましょう。
Then let us return
戦いの席へ。
to the seat of the battle.
おお、バトラー。
Oh, battler.
そなたどこへ姿を消しておったのか。
Where did you run off to?
負け犬は二度と姿を現さないかと思ったぞ。
And I thought losers never came back for more.
え。待たせたな。
Sorry to keep you waiting.
頭を冷やしてきたぜ。
I've cooled my head a little.
それで
Don't I look so cool, calm, and composed right now? My hand isn't resting on my head anymore. And
わらわとお師匠様の愉快痛快爽快大喝采の素敵ファンタジーバトルへの回答は出たのかい？
did you think of a response to that pleasant, thrilling, refreshing, highly acclaimed, wonderful fantasy battle between teacher and me?
あんなのファンタジー以外じゃ説明不能だろ。
Isn't that impossible to explain without fantasy? Yeah.
お嬢様、
Milady,
さっき親切で上品にするとお誓いになられたばかりですよ。
didn't you just promise to be kind and act more gracefully?
いけねえいけね
Oh no,
え。
no.
バトラの顔を見てるとついつい上機嫌になってしまうものでな。
I just got in such a good mood when I saw Battler's face, you see.
ほれほれほれ。それでバトラ、さっきの戦いだがどういう反応を示してみせるよ。
Look, look, look. How are you gonna respond to that battle just now, Battler? Hmm? He's just gonna be like, dead cat in a box, clap his hands, and then just walk away.
バトル
Dead and alive cat in a box, and little gremlins in a brawn tube. Battle?
何があったって
What battle? What?
このバラ庭園のどこへ
In this rose garden.
お前らがニョキニョキ生やした塔が槍が
Where do you see those spears?
どこに転がってんだ
And towers you made lying around.
ねえじゃないか
Oh my god, he's literally doing the thing I said, where he's basically like, I don't see them, and I don't think the others saw them. I don't think the other people in the mansion saw it. He's like, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? I don't see the ground torn asunder by magic spears and golems and towers of sorts. They aren't here, are they?
つまり
This
こいつ
is-
がブラウン管の中身ってわけさ
In other words, it's just like the inside of a brawn tube. It is so incredibly silly, but also like perfect in the dumbest of ways. The logic, this game, and Battler himself as a character is just...
ブラウン管の中身。
She's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The inside of a brawn tube?
一体何の話を始めるやら。
Cackle, what in the world are you talking about now?
今この瞬間
At this very moment,
バラ庭園には何もない
there's nothing at all in the rose garden.
さっきまでは 魔法で塔が生えていたかもしれねえさ。
Towers may have been sprouting with magic until a short while ago.
だがそれはブラウン管の中を知るまでだ。
However, that's only the case until we see what's inside the Braun tube.
魔法バトルはお前の解釈、主張に過ぎない。
That magical battle is nothing more than your interpretation, your claim.
今この場に何もないのがその証拠だ。
The fact that there's absolutely nothing to see here now proves it.
俺はさっきの魔女の戦いにこう反論する。
This is how I argue back about that witch's battle just now.
今この場に何もないのは何事もなかったことの証明だとな。
Right now, there isn't anything here which proves that nothing happened. She's like, oh shit.
あのな、さすがに第一の晩から大暴れはできぬし、わらわもこのバラ庭園は気に入っているのでな。
Come now, of course I can't make a huge mess when it's only the first twilight, and I am rather fond of that rose garden you see.
被害を及ぼさないため、結界の中で戦っておったのだ。
To prevent any damage, I had the fight occur inside a barrier.
だから現実には何の影響も与えていないのは当然のことよ。
So it's only natural that it wouldn't have any influence on reality.
それがお前の主張だな。
That's your claim?
ああ、それもありだろうな。
Well, I guess that works.
だが
However,
今この瞬間のバラ庭園に何もない。
at this point in time, there's nothing in the rose garden. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Dude, this seems like a dangerous thing to start contesting Beatrice with. Because she's gonna be like, oh, you want there to be, like, lasting damage? She's gonna do, like, a battle, and she's just gonna, like, rip the island in half. And just, like, actually just leave it just... Like, it seems a risky maneuver here. A bold maneuver, let's see if it works.
だから魔法などなかったという俺の主張を何ら妨げるものではないんだ。
So nothing stands in the way of my claim that there was no magic done here.
おいおい、そんなめちゃくちゃでわらわの魔法を否定できるのか？
Wait, can you deny my magic with a mess like that?
魔法がないは証明不能。
It is impossible to prove that magic does not exist.
悪魔の証明であるぞ。
It's a devil's proof.
今この瞬間のこのバラ庭園が真実だ。
At this point in time, this garden is the truth.
覗いた瞬間にブラウン管の中の妖精は蒸発する。
The instant you look inside, tiny people inside the Braun tube will vanish.
そしてここには何の魔法の痕跡もない。
And there are no traces of magic here at all.
だからお前らの魔女の戦いは行われなかった。
So that battle between you witches did not take place. What? What the?
その返しては
That counter.
力を
That power.
もしや
Could it be?
お忘れですか、お嬢様。
Have you forgotten, milady?
多層世界収縮術です。
Oh my god, there's a name for it. It is the multi-layered worlds reduction technique. Oh, you're fucking kidding me. Oh, of course. Yeah. Of course. It's the multi-layered worlds reduction technique. What an advanced move he has pulled off.
無限の魔女の力と対になる有限の魔女の力。
The power of finite witch, the counter to the power of an endless witch.
無限の魔女にしか悟ることができず、そして無限の魔女にとって最も強力な効果を発揮します。
Only an endless witch can perceive it, and is the most effective against such a witch.
シュレディンガーの猫箱か。
Schrodinger's cat box. Oh.
あの老いぼれ魔女め、余計な
Oh no,
イメージ
Beatrice is
よ。
pissed. That old hag of witch. What an uncalled for hint.
時間をロスった。
We've lost time.
使用人5人と
じい様で6人の死体。
Including the 5 servants and grandfather, there are 6 corpses.
状況を確認させてもらうぜ。
Let me check the scene.
俺がもたもたしてて時間を無駄にしちまった。
I've been trudging along, wasting time.
ここからはサクサクいくぜ。
From now on, I'll speed things up, okay? Oh,
席につけベアトリーチェ。
take a seat, Beatrice.
ようやく第一の番じゃねえか。本番スタートだぜ。
It's finally the first Twilight, isn't it? Let's start the real thing.
どんときやがれ。
Ah, show me what you've got. Nice. Nice. We'll call it probably a night there too. I'd rather end on a good part. That's pretty good. We set up. I mean, we've stumped Beatrice, or as Battler puts it, we've at least like shut her up enough for him to attempt his work, right? He's like, all right, dust my hands off. I actually have work to do. Now, what does that work entail? Is he actually going to solve the riddle? As much as I beg and plead for it, I would love some action in solving a riddle. I'm a simple man. I see a riddle, I want it answered. I want it solved by the characters who are tasked to solve it. That's all I'm saying. Forget what the adults, whatever. Forget the adults. Forget them. Did we, just to make sure? Yeah, it's still not anything different. All right, yeah, let's call it a night. I basically said I was gonna do 2 hours. It was a little shorter, but like I said, I try to open it. I'm like, well, if I say 2 hours, especially with Umineko, we'll go for like an hour and a half to 2 hours, or a little more if I had to try to get a better stopping point. But it's all good. Hour 40 is good for a midweek Umineko. Tomorrow, I think for Wednesday, we're gonna do a few more Odd One Out episodes. Kind of hankering to do a couple more of those, and some Zenki Zero. And then obviously no streams Thursday, and Friday will most likely be, I mean almost for sure, be Final Fantasy, I almost said 13, Final Fantasy 16 throughout the day. So excited for that, very excited for that. So yeah, stream tomorrow, Odd One Outs, and Zenki Zero. Umineko back sometime this weekend. I don't know when though. This weekend will be weird. I should be able to stream this weekend, but yeah, I'm gonna be wanting to mix in a lot of Final Fantasy 16, so that's the deal there. Might skip any Final Fantasy streams. That's totally understandable. I fully understand. Not every game that you kind of want to play. Oh, that even makes more sense. Yeah, that's totally understandable. No worries. I fully don't blame you. And I always take the mindset, I don't expect anyone to ever watch any of the streams live or archived. Like, try to watch every video. There's just too much. There's just too many hours of me playing games at this point. But yeah, I always say, if you see something that I play, especially like part 1, and you're like, damn, I really want to play that. That looks cool. I highly recommend and encourage even for then to get it yourself and play. So that's cool. That's cool that you're gonna play it. I'm excited. Excited to then hear your thoughts. I don't know who's gonna be faster in playing it, because I'm a pretty dang slow player of games. So as you can see. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night. See, I'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, Zenki Zero, Odd One Outs, then back Friday. More Umineko sometime this weekend. So, until then, stay safe, do good, and let the cat out of the box.